Hello friends, welcome to the Alchemist Knits Knitting Podcast episode whatever, because I did not check how many I had filmed before this because it has been a while. It truly has been a while since I've actually filmed a knitting podcast. So before we get into it, since y'all might be new here and it has been a while since I have filmed a podcast, hi, hello. My name is Alex. I use they, them pronouns. I live in Baltimore, Maryland with my partner and our cats and gecko and sugar gliders and snails. I love knitting, I love makeup, I love horror movies, and lots of nerdy things, so you will probably see that if you stick around on this channel. And yeah, let's just get into the actual knitting projects, which y'all are what's actually bringing y'all here. A lot of my FOs were knitting projects for friends and family for Christmas. So I don't actually have like a lot to show. So I'm just going to show like the one that I have been consistently wearing. And that is the Montana Mountain Cowl by Andrea Mowry. I used two different shades of Kim Dye's yarns. I believe the shades are Dandelion and Charcoal. I started it in September and I finished it in November. It's a fingering weight mosaic cowl that you essentially knit in a tube and then sew together at the end to make it an infinity scarf. I have been wearing this nonstop. It doesn't really go with my outfits, I'm not, and like it's a little warm. This was kind of a frustrating finish just because I was like, I'm gonna push through because I've been loving like things with little details, which this absolutely has. I love this little pattern that it has going on. Doing this over and over and over, I definitely did one less repeat than I was supposed to. I still think that it turned out to be a really nice size. It's nice and stretchy, and because instead of knitting it, you know, where one side would be the wrong side, since it is the same pattern over and over, I don't have to worry about like, oh, what if it twists the wrong way and it shows the inside while I'm wearing it? You don't need that with this. So I absolutely love the finished product. This is one of the things that I'm just going to be wearing all the time. I've worn it all winter. It's just a really lovely thing. I'm just doing this. This is really nice and satisfying to me. But it's nice and soft, very cozy. I would make another one, like, just not right now because I have a few other things on my list that I'm going to show y'all what I'm currently working on. But this is a very fun knit. I think that if you're kind of like looking to get into mosaic knitting, this is 100% a really good choice to do because the pattern's really easy to follow. And it kind of got to the point, like I took this on the plane when I was traveling out to Colorado for my friend's wedding. I had basically memorized the pattern. By that point, it's like a 10-row repeat, I think it is. 10-15 row repeat, and it's just very easy to follow along with. I am very happy with this one. Let's get into my whips. I have 3. I'll show y'all the one that is my top priority at the moment. It's another Andrea Mowry pattern. This was supposed to be a Christmas gift. I'm not doing well in that regard. This is the Traveler Hoodie, also by Andrea Mowry. I am making this in some Cascade 220. This is a gift for my partner Casey because they really, this will be their 3rd like Christmas hoodie. We don't do the sweater curse here. We've been together 7 years and I've already knitted them 2 sweaters. Yeah, at this point, me knitting them a sweater is just a Christmas tradition. Last year I was able to make it before Christmas. This year I didn't. But I'm working on the front part. I'm almost finished with the front, but it just has this really easy, just kind of like knit 3 rows, purl 2 repeat. It's very nice, very easy to sort of follow along with. It works from the bottom up, and then like you knit the sleeves attached to it. And I've knitted like t-shirts sort of like that, but never a full sweater. So I'm very interested to sort of see how this goes. I think it is going to fit really nicely. I did knit some extra rows because the way that she had like originally designed it, it was very cropped. And that's not how Casey likes to wear their sweaters and their hoodies. I also am knitting this in a worsted weight where it calls for a sport. So I just upped my needle size and then I sized down one, and I think it's going to fit just fine there. I kind of know how I knit in comparison to other people's like patterns and stuff, that I feel pretty confident that this is going to fit well. It's going to be nice and big and cozy. I've been taking the measurements as I go along. Yeah, and I'm also really excited that I get to knit this in a teal because Obviously, that's my hair color. I don't knit a lot of stuff for myself in that color, especially if it's going to be near my face. I feel like that's a little too matchy-matchy. I like to have a little bit of contrast when it comes to like things for myself. This has been really nice, and I'm just using Cascade 220 because it's a really comfy yarn. It's going to be nice and cozy. It's the non-superwash version because last time I made a superwash sweater and like the blocking was a little bit weird on it. So a non-superwash I think works a lot better, and I feel like just having it as a plain color instead of like a gradient or anything like that really allows the stitch definition and detail to show through. So I'm very, very excited. I'm really gonna just like try and plow through this tonight to just see if I can get the front part done. Not sure if I will be. That's a lot of work for me to have to do in one night, but you know, I've been focusing a little bit better. It's been pretty good. So we'll just see how it goes. Okay, the next thing is a self project that just pulled off of my needles. It's okay, I can just cry today, that's fine. Fortunately, this yarn is very sticky together-y. It's rescued officially. Frick yeah. So this is, or it will be, the Cleo cardigan by Rachel Kurihara. Keep on dropping the actual yarn for this because I haven't worked on this in a hot minute. I've never, in my adult life, I've never knitted myself a cardigan, which is a crime considering obviously how many cardigans I wear in my day-to-day life. I also don't own a lot of black hand knits, and I wear a lot of black in my day-to-day life as well. So this is kind of feeding two birds with one scone, as they don't say, but they should, because the other metaphor kind of makes me sad. So I am using 2 strands of faux mohair. This is a line brand FOMO yarn. It doesn't exist anymore, but I saw a TL Yarn Crafts talking about it like 2 years ago. Like, she's a crochet YouTuber, but I was like, oh, from these reviews, like that's a lovely little faux mohair. I might as well buy like, I think I bought like 12 skeins of it, not realizing how absolutely much yarn that would be. I've also already been able to knit one other full sweater out of this. So, you know what? This is tangled, but I'm not knitting this right now. I'm not working on this right now, so I'm not going to worry about this. I am going to stick this safely in there. But I've been wanting to knit this one for a bit. I saw RO Knits and Pearls. I love her knitting podcast. She was one of the test knitters for this, so this has been on my list for a while. I love the things that she makes. She makes very like light and airy type of clothes in like very pastel shades. And obviously I'm not a pastel person, but I love like the fit of a lot of the things that she makes. So I like pretty much everything that she mentions on her podcast, I add to my like Ravelry favorites, and I plan to knit them in like darker, moodier tones. I'm very excited to have this finished. The fabric is already like knitting up very like lightweight. The only problem is with the way that this yarn is, it catches every single cat hair ever. And I have 4 cats. Before I finish this, I'm gonna buy like 20 lint rollers. That's just gonna have to be a thing. Okay, and the last work in progress that I have is the Sugar Bush Kid Sweater by Marie Amélie Designs. I'm knitting this for my neighbor's daughter, who is like an adorable little baby child. I'm knitting this in the 18-month size because that's how old she's gonna be like next winter. I haven't knitted like a full-on baby sweater in fingering weight yarn in a while, so I wasn't sure how long it was actually gonna take. But so far so good. I was able to do that little colorwork yoke in like a weekend. It's so addictive. It's so fun. This has also helped me get rid of like some of my scrap yarn, because I've had, especially like this pink blue situation here, I've had that for like a couple of years. I always thought it was really pretty because you can see like there, I hope you can see, maybe you can't, but there's a little bit of sparkle in there. So I think it's really gorgeous. I just haven't had a chance to use it for anything. I'm not going to say like what it was, but it was from Hobby Lobby, and I personally don't support Hobby Lobby. It just came into my life. I also find it incredibly funny that these are like trans pride colors, so I'm like, Hobby Lobby trans pride yarn. But yeah, I think that this is such a fun and cute little color combination. I can't wait to finish the sleeves, so I'm hopefully gonna try and finish that up this week, just so I can like have it done, because that is just like a very little thing for me to need to finish at this point. But it's so cute. My friend, I got inspired to do this because my friend Sam was making one for one of her friends and I saw her working on it at Knit Night and I was like, I want to make that for a child in my life. So I did. So those are my works in progress. I am trying to be better at like keeping my active whips to 3 because I feel like any number above that would be like way too overwhelming. Hopefully I'll have some more progress to show you all next time. Now let's do a couple of acquisitions. There are a few things I'm not on an official yarn no buy or anything, but I am really trying to use up what I have, you know, work very intentionally with my knitting, but I did pick up a few things recently. One, my local yarn store where I go to Knit Nights has like a little free yarn bin where everyone kind of like donates their scraps and stuff. And I found this gorgeous bulky weight, natural looking black wool. I have no idea what this is, but it's like gritty, I guess, prickly. It's just a very natural feeling fiber. And I have been wanting like a natural looking black for a while. You'll notice a theme in my knits this year that I'm doing a lot of black. It's what I wear and it feels nice to me. But I'm not 100% certain what I want to make with this. I kind of envision like a big, chunky, bulky hat. What's that? A hat? A crazy, funky, chunky hat. Wizards of Waverly Place, anyone? But just like a big chunky hat with this because I couldn't imagine, it is way too scratchy to go around my neck. Maybe mittens. I don't know if this is enough for a pair of mittens, but it's definitely enough for a hat. Obviously, we're getting like out of bulky hat season, but I'm gonna wear it regardless of the time of year. And this is just going to be incredibly pretty. And then Casey bought me yarn. Every month, my local yarn store showcases a local indie dyer to like the Maryland area. That's where I got the Kim Dyes yarns that I used to make this cowl. Was during a trunk show there, so I always enjoy it because I get to discover new indie dyers outside of like festivals and stuff and discover formulas that I really like and colors that I like, all of that good stuff. And January they were showcasing the Create Yarnworks. That's, I didn't need to add a V in front of it. And I have been lusting after this black tonal yarn. And I was like, oh my God, I want to get that when I get paid, but I'm not going to get paid until after the trunk show is over. So it's like kind of bummed. But Casey and I went there Friday night, February 2nd, and they still had some of the yarn left over, specifically the black tonal yarn. So I got 2 and it is so freaking pretty. I love black yarn. I got it in their fingering weight. This is 100% superwash merino, 440 yards to 3.5 ounces. So I got 2 of these. I don't know if I want to make like a t-shirt or a tank top, but I want something like nice and basic that I can wear on a day-to-day basis. I made the outline tee by Jessie Maid last year, and I'm kind of wondering if I want to make that in this. Because I was originally envisioning the mini mock neck tank with this, but then I'm thinking, one, I'm not so sure about a mock neck on me because the more like close to my neck things have been recently, like I recently had to get rid of a couple turtleneck shirts because it just like, every time I wore them, they looked cute, but they felt like too constricting to me. So I'm not 100% certain on that. But I think that this would also look really cute as like a t-shirt type of situation. And maybe making another outline tee just in black would be really nice. Because I'm thinking, since this is 100% wool, that might do better for me, not around my neck. And then I've been wanting to try the Knitting for Olive cotton merino yarn this year. I've been wanting to try that for a while. I've heard that it's super nice. Like if you want something a little bit like lighter weight, maybe that would be good for the mini mock neck tank. We'll see. I want to use this first though. I want to finish some of my other projects before I get into using these. Please just enjoy this black yarn with me. Like, do you see that it's not just like one shade of black? Is anyone else seeing this? Like, do you see all of the different like little microtones in this? It's just so pretty. I love those like little tiny details that aren't like too much. They're not too in your face. They're there. And like, it's something that, you know, when I knit with it and when I make something with it, probably only I'm gonna notice, and that's okay. I love those sorts of little things. So I'm very excited, and it's soft as hell. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so that's it for my acquisitions. I know that this is kind of short for a knitting podcast, but I feel like this is a pretty decent length for this video. So let me know what you're working on making down in the comments. That would be super duper wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I'll see y'all in my next one. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Bye!